What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to the 16th annual WWE End of the Year Awards for Smark Out Moment, aka the Smarkies, where we talk about the best and the worst of what happened in World Wrestling Entertainment over the past 12 months. And if you don't know who we are, I'm Tony Mango, joined as always by Rob DeFelice.
Tony, we've finished another year, and
Ooh.
I gotta tell you, this might go down as the year that my WWE fandom died.
Could very well be the case. This is a year that has been a struggle. This has been a struggle year for sure. And, you can see that reflected in the AEW awards, which we already recorded. You can see that, I'm sure, reflected in what we are going to talk about for these three sections, where there's going to be a lot of, hey, I didn't watch that for a good portion of these things, whether it's like entire shows or if it's just, I wasn't paying attention because of something else or whatever that might be. This was a rough year for many different reasons, but in WWE, they took a lot of steps back and really undid a lot of the popularity that they had gained over the past 2 years or so and put themselves in a position where Triple H now laughs at everybody booing him for things. And
we're going to talk about that when we talk about worst Smark Out Moments of the year.
Yeah, it's got to be on the list, yeah. So if you don't know how the awards goes, and how we've been doing this for essentially 16 years, it's been like some tweaks along the way and everything, but the bulk of it is pretty much exactly the same as what it was, where we talk about the best things, we talk about the worst things too, because I've never been one of the types that says like, okay, who's the best wrestler of the year? It's so-and-so, the end. Well, it's more fun sometimes to talk about the worst in something. And sometimes there's a really easy debate about something in like the best side, and then the worst side, you can pull out some like, oh, this is kind of funny, somebody really hates this person or whatever it might be like that. It lends itself to more discussion, I think. So we break that down into a whole bunch of different categories, and those categories are also broken down into 3 sections that we have on YouTube. If you're listening to us on the audio-only Spotify feed or the Anchor feed or Apple Podcast or something, I'll just edit them all together. You'll just have one podcast for that. That'll be, 4 hours long or whatever this ends up being. The AEW one, after being edited down, came out to 4 hours, 29 minutes, and 58 seconds. Yeah, 4 hours and a half. So maybe this will be whatever.
Half hours.
Probably not.
It's me. There's no Callum here. He doesn't watch anymore.
Yeah.
It's me and Tony. We're not talking for 4.5 hours.
There is very unlikely a chance that that's the case. And the reason why Callum isn't on here is because he quite literally does not watch WWE.
He literally doesn't watch.
So,
to the point where I've asked with great sincerity, hey, why don't you turn the power rankings into the AEW power rankings? Hey, why aren't we doing the AEW fantasy? Like, why are you doing anything related to a product you don't watch?
But yeah, he's a trooper like that, so he still keeps them going. But we figured Callum's not going to have an opinion about predominantly most of these categories, let alone to have a best and the worst in each one. So we're saving him the effort of having to try to think up stuff that he wouldn't even know or care about. And even for us, there's going to be some categories where it's going to be like, I didn't really care enough to write a whole lot of things down, or like, I've got no opinion about blank. I'll let you worry about blank.
That's right. You're not thinking about the big picture.
Yeah. So the 3 categories that we have going on here, or the 3 sections of categories, I should say, are the Technical Skills Awards, the Writing Awards, and the Performing Awards. And of course, we're going to start things off with the first section, the Technical Skills Awards. That's what we got going on for this one. If you're listening to this on YouTube, then you got to click on the next sections instead of the audio only thing being, just carry along. But we're going to start off the way that we always start off, which is the best and the worst entrance of the year. And that is applicable to a single entrance. If you want to say like so-and-so's specific entrance at this one show, or it could be the general sense of somebody. And I got more things written down than I thought that I would for this now that I'm looking back on it. I have about like 10 things or so written down for the worst. that are, some of them are generalizations. Like I wrote down the usual thing, the typical generic baby face thing from like Evolve or NXT or even the main roster, where you can't even tell who's coming out until they actually show up on the screen. And then even if it's somebody like an Evolve side of things, nobody's going to react anyway. So yeah, I'm not going to pick those things as like in any scenario that I can avoid. So I tried to pinpoint some other things. I wrote down damn near everyone at WrestleMania didn't have a special entrance, or they were massively underwhelming, such as Roman Reigns. That was the first note that I wrote.
We'll get back to that.
They phoned it in for Mania, and I'm assuming that they're going to do it again this year. You know.
Well, we'll circle back.
I wrote down some other specific names, though. I don't like the Judgment Days themes. They're all slightly different, but I can never tell who's coming out. And they're all bland. So if you were to tell me, sing Roxanne's theme or hum Raquel's version, I couldn't tell you.
The only one I know for sure is Dom. And then I just think they're all coming out to Dom's music.
Yeah. So like that is bad. I'm hoping that Def Rebel either figures out how to do things differently, or that they are gone and that somebody else better comes in.
They're gone. I hope that they're gone.
As far as I'm aware, they're not like gone yet, though, right? Isn't it just like that they probably aren't going to renew their contract or something?
Hopefully they're gone soon, though.
Yeah, they need somebody else. CFO money was pretty good, but we need like a Mark Johnston again.
We need an actual
Johnston, not Mark.
Human being. And to be fair, like it doesn't seem like they're going that way. They're doing AI DoorDash commercials with WWE superstars, so have you seen those?
The AI things? No.
Yeah, I don't know. Not a fan.
I'm sure it's awful. I wrote down a couple other ones though. Like I don't like Dark State's theme, and I don't like how they basically just repeat everything from some previous other groups. So it's like they're a lackluster version of the Shield, and they're basically Retribution 2.0, and they do the glitchy screen thing that they do with the Wyatts and all. Like they can't have any original ideas, so they're just doing a lesser version of anything else. I like how people call him Dork State, by the way. I didn't like Jordan Oasis doing his entrance. He had a whole gimmick, which I'll talk again later on in Evolve, where he just walked out with a backpack. And he was supposed to be like kind of like a traveling guy, but he just came across as some dude with a backpack rather than like, how like Elias had the drifter thing.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I could see that guy being a drifter, and he's got his guitar, and he's got this sort of swagger to him. Jordan Oasis was just a guy. He's got his backpack, and I thought, this is dumb. He's coming out with that. Katana Chance and Caden Carter, they would come out and try to be all fired up, and nobody gave a shit.
They were on your list last year.
Yeah, they were justified on there. Josh Briggs, every time he comes out, he's got that little smoking skull on his shoulder that I guess we're supposed to find cool. Looks lame. It kind of reminds me of like, when like little kids parade around in their Halloween costumes and they think that they're like badass.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it seems like with Josh Briggs for me when he's coming out, and it's like, look at my skull on my shoulder. I'm gonna put it away now. BJ Ray, if you watch any LFG shows, he comes out with this weird pose, or at least he did. He's not in the company anymore. Came out with this weird pose, and then like kind of like drags his knuckles onto the entrance and all. It looks weird. I don't like Ilya Dragunov's theme. It just reminds me of the Animaniacs theme.
Okay. All right, because last year you wrote Ilya Dragunov parentheses Animaniacs, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Every time he comes out, I'm just like, he's
a little zany.
We should never have I believe in Thea.
Oh my god! Oh, you know, you know what? I
Did
was
you forget
gonna,
about that one?
I was gonna suggest that the worst entrance this year might be the fact that this was the year that collectively, during the Royal Rumble, everybody went, what woman is coming out to the ring? I don't know any of these songs,
Yeah.
but I believe in Thea. What the?
And then it
What?
just goes
And then they
into,
shortened it down to I believe in Thea. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. That's my worst.
well,
If
the
that's
other one that I have down that I think a lot of people would be like up in arms about one way or another is Jey Uso.
yeah,
I got sick and tired of hearing this, and I don't want
because
to.
they ran it back 500 times.
Yeah, they kept doing it over and over, and it's like it was catchy enough to a certain extent before, but it's really not that catchy to me.
You know what's weird? On this past episode of Raw, they had the audacity to play his solo theme song, which, mind you, is just the Usos theme song, while Jimmy Uso is right there
Yeah,
and dancing to it. And it's just me, and it's literally not just him.
it's just me who's day one ish, and also Jimmy.
I say this lovingly because I do like Jimmy Uso. He is like definitively the Genetti, and to the
Yeah,
point where it's like,
it doesn't even seem like he cares if he's the Genetti.
I think listen, yeah, I think he's just happy that he gets to hang out with his family. He's got his hot wife. I don't think he cares. So God bless him.
He's like sitting
Like,
there on the couch going, "It's just use."
you know, but yeah, that I believe in Thea was so bad, and it gets even more perplexing when you look at what literally just happened to Thea Hale. It's like that whole 3 week stint did not need to happen.
Thea Hale is going to be an interesting topic that I did not anticipate talking as much about
Which
on
it had
these.
we started on Monday,
If we were
we
going
would
to,
talk
for
about
anybody that's
Thea.
curious, because this is probably going to be posted on Tuesday the 23rd, according to my schedule that I got going on. We're recording this at 9:45 on the 17th. Technically, Dynamite's happening right now, but you already know what happens, so I'm not watching. And that's my thought process. Maybe these are great matches for AEW. I don't know. I'm not watching. I don't need to. And if we would have started on Monday like we were thinking about, we would have gone through at least the technical skills, if not also the writing awards, and then had no idea that it would have been, Thea Hale wins the title
Wins the
from a
title
botch.
on one of the biggest botches in recent memory.
I had to rewrite a whole section of an upcoming article for What Culture because I wrote up Thea Hale desperately needs something new in 2026, and I'm like, well, she's got the championship now, so that's already something new. And
I hope they keep it on.
I believe in Thea Hale is, if not my least favorite specific entrance, it's got to be tied to with the Jey Uso thing, which is kind of funny because one of the options that I have under best is Joe Hendry. And
Yeah,
it's
fuck
like,
that.
the difference is Joe Hendry's got a gimmick that is over and people like, and that's the song instead of just tacking it onto somebody else arbitrarily.
I'm here to tell you that choice is bullshit because they ran Joe Hendry into the ground for me. Like I'm good on Joe Hendry personally.
You are good on Joe Hendry.
It's kind of like I was saying in the AEW awards about Tony Storm, where it's like, hey, if that's your cup of tea, cool. They killed it for me.
They're slowly killing it for most people, I think. Yeah, it's one of my options. It's not my favorite. I have about like 7 other best options that I had written out, and some of them are pretty self-explanatory. Like, as much as I was just crapping on Def Rebel, Blake Monroe's got a good theme.
Blake Monroe does have a good theme.
And she's got a little bit of like entrance flair to it, so that's
the
good.
Only time we're bringing up probably Blake Monroe to positive.
It might be. Yeah, we're not doing the Superstars tournament anymore, where we can talk about who's hot and who's not. I wrote down, and this is this is guaranteed going to be the only time that I mention this person in a positive sense. I think the only time I'll mention her at all. Jasmine Nix actually she had a good entrance, like taunt.
I like
I
Fatal
liked.
Influence's entrance.
I like their
I haven't
entrance
seen
overall. I
it.
don't like it as much with Lainey Reed.
Yeah, I haven't seen it with Laney Reed because as we'll talk about a lot. This again, not watching as much.
Yeah.
Uh,
Lainey Reed just doesn't
so
have the personality because Nyx had that thing where she like laid down in the ring and like pointed for the camera to come closer and then like, hey, stop, like you're getting too close, kind of a thing.
Laney Reed's beautiful, but Jasmine Nix was mean girl, bitchy, kind of hot,
Yeah.
and it just fit the gimmick better.
I've got
One that I'm sure
down.
we're gonna agree on, Obafemi.
Oh, absolutely. He was going to be the next person I was going to mention. Just
Uh,
that strut is, it's just kind of, you find yourself, the song starts playing, like shoulders start moving a little bit, you know? There's going to be so much positive Obafemi stuff here. And it's so funny because I've been singing his praises for over an entire year. And now that he finally pops up on the main roster, I'm getting constantly bombarded with it on TikTok of people being like, you know, that Obafemi's great. It's like, yeah, you should have been watching him for the past year and a half.
and I joke around a lot about this, but I do have a fucking good eye for picking these things. My one to watch last year was Obafemi. Oh, he just is it. My one to watch was like the year before that was Solruka. Like
You know, Bronson
I
Reed eventually turned around, and yeah,
I can see when the good things are happening because
good
good
things are
things are good.
good. I
Um,
gotta, of course, give a shout out to Cody Rhodes' theme. You know, always amazing, always fun. Um, Penta,
Penta, you know, Penta might be a strong contender for just best because
that
they put
strut.
a lot of time and effort into his thing, and people were down with his whole strut. The smooth operator that he is.
He has to
Ray
come out
Phoenix
to that
as
at some
well.
point.
Phoenix as well. It's just Phoenix. The push didn't sustain, so I don't know if people think about Ray Phoenix as much.
Definitely, they don't. No way
Uh,
that they do. Phoenix is in a weird
Aleister
spot
Black,
where they're not pushing him in the same capacity as Penta, and that Andrade tag team doesn't help.
Aleister Black came back this year. That entrance is still cool.
Yeah, he's got a really good Karrion Kross and Scarlet entrance.
I was gonna say they had a cool entrance. That brings me to what might be my best mention of the year, or at least my top honorable mention. A lot of people got their music back.
A lot of people
Ciampa's got
thankfully
his,
did.
Ciampa's got his music back. Organa got his music back. Um, the New
Sheamus, I
Day
think,
probably
reverted back, right?
not yet, but he should. Uh, the New Day should probably get their music back because their theme song sucks.
Yeah, the New Day, something.
We might be talking about them a little bit later on, actually. I think my best overall though, I'm just gonna go CM Punk, WrestleMania, played out to the ring by Living Color, walks to the ring with Paul Heyman. That was just like a really genuine moment. That they had the video package beforehand with his old theme song.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I liked that video package a lot.
The crowd is singing along. He gets like Living Color plays him. He's Heyman's kissing him on the forehead. Like that might be the peak entrance of the year, and I'm gonna reference that angle a lot because you're gonna like see a pattern that basically says that might be the only thing I enjoyed this year from this company.
I had two other specific ones that I had in the mix of like, yeah, if I wanted to call attention to like that one entrance type things, I liked Tiffany Stratton's WrestleMania entrance with the Barbie doll boxes.
Barbie doll, yeah,
It was one of the only ones that they actually put any effort into. Like Roman comes out and he doesn't even have like any gear. He's just Roman with nothing. And they might have done that technically because they wanted to be like, oh, he doesn't have Paul Heyman or whatever. But I think it's more so they just didn't
but it
care.
was very subtle.
Yeah.
They had the little AR like the flashing slideshow of like the members of the bloodline. and
Yeah.
that was his special thing. Because like Rollins had something too, where he came out with the blowtorch, and he did the outfit change mid entrance. Like they did try, but for me, Punk really stood out.
I really hope this year's WrestleMania isn't just either basic entrances or it isn't the other backup stupid plan that they do where they end up being like, what kind of a car can that person just pull up into and then just park the car? Or can that person be on a motorcycle and just then park the motorcycle? Because like that doesn't matter. That's who gives a shit. But the other one that I wrote down was AJ Lee's return on SmackDown.
Yeah, that I might talk about that later. Like that might be like my wow moment, but I don't know about best entrance, but that was really cool.
Yeah, overall best entrance, I lean more towards either just going with the quantity of like Penta, or if I have to go for like the one spot thing, probably Stratton's Mania one, because that's at least the only one that's like, okay, you made an entrance there, as opposed to Obafemi struts. I like the strut, I like the theme, but it's nothing special. It's just catchy enough and.
And shout out also to Trick Williams.
That trick's great too. Yeah.
Mostly, specifically, shout out to Booker T.
Yeah.
Entrance.
Oh yeah, man.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
That's Trick. So moving on to the best and the worst ring attire or clothing or gear or whatever you want to call it. I wrote down a bunch of different options for those too. I haven't read these notes, a lot of them, in a while, so I don't fully like remember exactly what some of these things are. But I wrote down BJ Ray again because he had like a weird outfit going on. PJ Vasa has like a singlet, but also the Zack Ryder thing where like only one leg is covered.
The one leg.
And it just doesn't look right. I don't know why she would choose that one. I wrote down Drake Moreau, but I specifically wrote down he looks like some kind of failed late 80s or early 90s gimmick, colors over quality. So I don't know, Google Drake Moreau Evolve or something. You'll see what it means. Or down Hank and Tank. I don't think we need to have the belly boys just slapping their stomachs and
honk,
wearing
honk,
that kind of thing.
honk, honk.
And I wrote down specifically two things from Charlotte this year, which Charlotte almost always gets on this list. I wrote down Charlotte Flair's yellow outfit from the Raw after Royal Rumble, which let me Google that and see what that was.
Was that when she tried to like be like, I love the people, and they just weren't having it?
It might have been that. But yeah, it looks like she's kind of like she's got like a coat on, but it's also a crop top and then like a skirt. So it looks like she has like she didn't realize what clothes match or something. It just looks weird. I don't get fashion most of the time when people have anything that's weird, because it's always like, it's supposed to stand out. I think that fashion's supposed to look nice on you, but then again, I don't know. But I also wrote down Charlotte Flair and Nia Jax at War Games. That wasn't that far off. You remember that one?
I only agree with half of that statement. I liked Charlotte Flair's airbrush because I thought it was different, and when you see the reason why, it makes it even more heartwarming, because it's specifically like in tribute to a fan, like a Make-A-Wish that.
Oh, that's what it was?
Yeah, it was like paying tribute to the little girl that was in the crowd.
Okay, well then I can't give that to that. That's I thought it was just like she picked this outfit and was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna wear that, and because she kind of looked like she should have been part of, like in Nia's team, like that those two matched each other.
They randomly decided, she randomly was just like, after 10 years of wearing my father's elaborate robes, I'm just gonna wear airbrushed gear.
I don't know. She wears look at the other outfit. She wears some weird stuff here and there.
I did have to Google the outfit from the Raw after the Royal Rumble. Nia Jax, definitely. That was weird gear. It was just a strange gear.
I guess it's supposed to be. It says this one thing says that it's San Diego Padres style, And now that I'm
Sure.
looking at that, the Padres have like those kind of, that type of teal and yellow and white and pink. I wouldn't have made a team with those colors, at least not now. Maybe in like 1991. It could have worked then, but it was weird. I wasn't a fan of that, but I think overall I still would have to probably pick, just because he wears this all the time. I don't like Drake Moreau's outfit.
Boy, let me tell you, I couldn't tell you where he looked like. Well, I'm gonna Google it because I just couldn't imagine.
So he's got this like I'm a fun Louisiana guy thing, and he comes out with overalls that are like different colors. And I think the overalls are ridiculous. I even literally wrote up an article one time of everybody looks stupid in overalls. And
Oh, if this picture that I'm seeing in this render is the gear that he constantly, this looks like Enzo Amore got taller.
yep.
Is what I'm.
Okay, so you're looking at it. Is it like it's got the multiple
Yeah,
patches on it and stuff?
yeah, that's not great.
It's ugly. And maybe that's the point. Maybe it's supposed to be like kitschy or something, but I've never liked anything that's like, oh, it's so ugly, it's cute, or it's so ugly, it's interesting. Nah, I'm not a fan of Drake Moreau's outfit. I like him for the most part, but
That that I might just have to piggyback off because I can't think of anything egregiously bad. And I'm not gonna shit on somebody randomly without knowing what their gear looks like. But yeah, I that's horrible. That's a horrible ring gear. So I'm gonna side with you on that one.
so I have a lot written down for the best, and I'm now Googling them to try to figure out like what these actually were, because again, it's hard to remember. And it's not at all surprising either which ones I wrote down for the most part, because this usually ends up being the case every year. There's a lot of positives when it comes to Zelina Vega and Jade Cargill. For Vega, I've got her Royal Rumble outfit, which I'm looking at right now. Is I don't know what kind of cosplay this is, but she's got like big kind of, I don't know if they're wings technically supposed to be, or if this is some kind of, it's got to be like some anime character or something like that. I don't know, but it looks cool. It's different.
I'm gonna check.
I wrote down her WrestleMania SmackDown outfit, which I am trying to find now. Some of these things I probably should have just queued up ahead of time or whatever, but she's always putting a lot of effort into her gear. And then Bianca Belair, WrestleMania, Rhea Ripley, WrestleMania. That's pretty much always a thing too. Like Rhea Ripley always has like interesting gear, and Bianca makes her own gear. Looks like this year was the one where Bianca had like all the roses and stuff. Like that was intricate. That's a really cool outfit for that. I got Lyra Valkyria from WrestleMania. I'm just gonna read them off with that. Stephanie Vaquer, NXT May 13th. That's very specific.
Okay, what dress was she wearing?
None. That's what it was, and I understand why. Stephanie Vaquer, NXT May 13th.
Okay, I'm gonna Google it. Hold on. uh,
I do remember really liking Lyra's white. Now you know what I mean. I can't seem to find the Ripley one from Mania. Why does nobody like have a picture of Ripley from Mania going on right now? I'm sure that it was something kind of cool. I have Ripley.
Survivor Series is a front runner for me.
I've got Ripley for the Raw from August 18th, and I did write a note about what that was. Google that, and you know what I mean. the Storm outfit from Jade Cargill at Night of Champions, the Halloween outfits from Jade and Tiffany Stratton on the Halloween episode of SmackDown. And then I have down Tatum Paxley regularly and Jade Cargill regularly.
Looks like Jade Cargill just wins your award.
I mean, like, she always has cool gear and looks great.
That Rhea Ripley.
See what leaves an impression, you know what I mean? So it's very hard not to go with the poor choice of words there. Stephanie's or Rhea's or whatever, but I do want to like give a major shout out to I think I could probably go Bianca from Mania, because knowing that she even makes them, that makes it even better.
I'm Googling that. I want to say as an overall shout out, Naomi.
Naomi's got some good gear too.
I liked her Proceed with Caution era. She was a crazy woman this year, and she was awesome. Let's see if I can. Bianca does look really cool. She does look really cool with that gear.
All the roses and stuff.
I like that. Yeah, shout out to some of these people putting on some really fun gear. I'm gonna go with Rhea Survivor Series just because maybe it's the recency bias, but she looked great at Survivor Series, so that's what I'm gonna go with.
With the mask that she had going on.
The mask and the white gear I really liked. Also,
very old school Undertaker fan of the Opera. Yeah.
At several points this year, you had like Sammy and Punk, and I think even AJ wore like, Palestine tribute gear. That's cool. Like, I always enjoy stuff like that. Penta in general, it's just so cool. You know what I mean? But I think overall, I'd say Rhea Survivor Series.
Major shout outs to those. I just realized I don't have a single guy on this. But then again, they have a lot of bland gear.
Rhea WrestleMania had like the pale makeup and the bright red lips. It was really made to look. Did you find a picture of her? Or do you need me to send you one?
From Mania?
From Mania,
yeah. That's she's got the kind of thorn crown thing going on, right?
Yeah. And she had the really cool makeup. So yeah, shout out to her as well. She had really cool gear this year. But I'm going to specifically say Survivor Series.
So moving on to signature maneuver, best and worst. Naturally, doesn't need to be their finisher. It could be some other kind of move that they do on a regular basis or whatever. I've got 6 options for worst. And also keep in mind, everybody, we should be hearing what you have to say. So leave a comment. Tell us what you're thinking. If you agree, disagree, if you're tossing out some, you guys forgot about such and such. We might totally have forgot about something. My 6 options that I had written down that I remembered for the worst signature maneuvers. One of them is something that I actually don't remember, but I had written down, and this is just the quote of what I wrote down. Somebody does a Playmaker and Evolve. I forget who, maybe Carly Bright. Because Playmaker's always been a terrible move. I, though, also hate Bailey's Rose Plant.
You repeat a lot of it, too. Yeah. That one your worst last year. I don't know what the Rose Plant did to you.
It annoyed me. I've got Asuka's Empress Impact, that butt attack that she does. I also don't like Jada Parker's Hypnotic. I don't think it looks like she's actually hurting the person at all. And it's kind of more so between these 2 options for me. Jey Uso's Spear.
Yep, that's mine. I'll just jump in real quick and say that's mine.
It's bad.
It's bad.
And there's so many people that do spears. If you can't do it well,
it almost seems like it's gotten intentionally worse.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? It seems like it's now intentionally the most awkward spear.
The other one that I think is really, really bad and needs to be changed immediately, Ilya Dragunov needs to stop doing the H-bomb as a finisher.
I like it.
It looks weird to me. It doesn't look like he's actually hurting the person. It looks like he's falling on top of them accidentally.
But that's what... If you fell on top of somebody and you're just like, your forearm gets driven into their jaw, they're out. So you're thinking he should just do the Torpedo Moscow?
Yeah.
Call it a day?
Or maybe some other move. I don't know. Like, he could use this H-bomb thing as, like, if somebody's knocked down and he just wants to add an extra little thing. But to me, that looks like the type of thing that you would land, go for a pinfall, and it would be a 2 count. And then you would, like, get up and start doing something else.
Was it you I was talking to just the other day where I was like, I hate that Bailey... They had just... One day she stopped doing it because she's not a hugger anymore. She just doesn't beat people with the Bailey to belly. Yeah. And I think that's the dumbest thing in the world.
It's always weird when somebody's finisher stops being a finisher. It's better if they get a new finisher that's better, but that usually doesn't happen. Any other ones on the worst side? No, I don't have any more written down, but I'm sure that there is other ones.
Why she does it, but I kind of wish Becky would just finish people with the disarm her and not the manhandle slam.
Never been a big fan of the manhandle slam. Yeah.
Doesn't always look great, and I don't know why it's her primary move. As far as worst, nothing's going to top Jey Uso's spear. So I'll just leave it at that.
On the best, I got a couple. Braun Breaker's spear.
Yep, I wanna.
The Carlito one in particular, I wrote down.
Yep. Okay, cool. That's mine, but we'll say some others.
Because that one was great. He just bolted and just flung off the screen.
I think that kept Carlito employed for like an extra 2 months.
Yeah, it might have. I've got down the Soul Snatcher.
Yeah, that was your winner last year.
The OG cutter that Javon Evans does. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Iguana kicking Loyeska and catching it on his shoulder.
No.
Yeah. It's impressive. No. He does it every time.
Yeah, it's cool. But it goes... I don't know if there's a category for this, so I'll just say it here since you brought it up. One of my biggest negatives this year is WWE running fucking everything into the ground, man. And they ran Mr. Iguana into the ground real quick.
Well, speaking of running something into the ground, this is my pick, but there's so much criticism about it already. Stephanie Vaquera's Devil's Kiss.
I think Callum recently said that like she doesn't even have good matches anymore because it's all just leading to the Devil's Kiss. There's a specific time where Wade Barrett was just like, we're going to go bouncy. and Michael Cole was like mortified. I enjoy the Devil's Kiss. I think you can hate Booker T all you want. Crowds of people are now just going, like,
Booker's great.
Devil's Kiss is cool. Mine is Breaker's Spear. In general, like that's a great spear, but specifically that Carlito one, man. Oof.
And that's actually one of the options that I've got under the coolest spot. It's not going to be my pick. But yeah, the difference between that coolest spot, best spot, whatever it might be, and then worst or biggest botch is the next category. So rolling along with that, might as well just say my different options that I wrote down for best or coolest spot. Braun Breaker's super fast spear on Carlito. Braun Breaker's spear from I Show Speed.
That's right. That was this year.
I was Royal Rumble this year. Just wrecked him. And that was a great spear. The double Devil's Kiss from Vaquera and Ripley on Fallon Henley and JC Jane at NXT Homecoming. For obvious reasons. Damian Priest gives Finn Balor a Falcon Arrow through a table off some arena set stuff while brawling on the outside of Raw. That's what I wrote down.
I remember that. That was a cool spot.
Joaquin Wilde steps on the backs of Cruz del Toro and Julius Creed to flip over the rope onto the outside onto Brutus Creed. I don't remember when that happened, but it must have been cool. It sounds cool.
Second time Joaquin Wilde gets a nice little mention from you for this category.
I've got a thing that a lot of people didn't like when Kit Wilson was calling Damian Priest. He was saying he has toxic masculinity, and then Priest threw him through a wall. Because I just thought that was like so typical, like caveman type shit. It's like, this is toxic masculinity. Oh, you know what toxic masculinity is? Like, throw the guy through a fucking wall. Brilliant. I've got a pretty recent spot from December 1st. Kofi Kingston bounces off the ropes from a kick from Dragon Lee right into AJ Styles' arms for a Styles clash.
Yep, that was very cool.
And then I've got something that most people probably wouldn't have even watched to begin with, let alone care. Omos standing next to Microman.
That was
AAA
that
World
was the
Tour.
highlight of that AAA show for me.
That was the highlight of any AAA show for this year. As soon as Microman came out, I never knew that Microman was a person on this roster or anything, but as soon as he came out, I was like, oh my god, this is so funny to have him up against Otis or whatever. And then Omos is there, and I'm like, yes, please. Please do something against each other. Microman's gotten so much discussion from me this year. Loved that moment. Out of the best spots for this whole thing, I think I probably would go with Breaker Spear on iShow Speed.
That was a really cool spear. Let's see, but because there are some other cool spots. Like, as sloppy as the match was, I thought there were some cute spots in the WrestlePalooza mixed tag match with Punk and AJ. I like how, they were all kind of getting involved. You even had like Punk putting Becky in the sharpshooter. I like that kind of stuff. I would say there was a spot this year with Jade and Naomi at Evolution where that actually ended the match that I thought was pretty effective, where Jade puts Naomi through the table with the Jaded. I would normally say the Io Sky's trash can moment, but that also goes in my category of WWE ruined it. They had to fucking brand everything.
Every year they do that, and then it gets worse and worse because now they're throwing advertisements in there and all.
Now it's like, oh, but look, we have a trash can that says Io Sky. Annoying.
Io Sky coming. We've never seen this before. Io Sky with a trash can on there. The Mike's Hard Lemonade trash can or whatever.
Oh my god, this was the year with like the fireball ladder and stuff,
and the Slim Jim tables, and yeah, it's not the worst advertisement stuff that they've ever done. And I'd rather them have Slim Jim tables than to have 20 minutes worth of bullshit on pay-per-views between every single segment. But it is very annoying to watch WWE these days.
Yeah, I would say so. Jacob Fatu jumped off a cage at SummerSlam, and I feel like people just forgot that.
I forgot it entirely.
There was an entire 6-team TLC match at SummerSlam with some crazy ass spots. I feel like people forgot that.
That is on my list for some other things, but I don't remember any of the spots themselves. But I do remember, I mean, that's on my list of one of the best matches of the year. I'll spoil that.
Let's see what else. There was a brief tease of like a Shield Powerbomb at WrestleMania. I like that. I'm just trying to give myself a little refresher. For the most part, though, I think coolest spot, I'm probably gonna go just because it's so fresh in the memory. With actually, hold on, that's a cool one. I just saw Javon Evans do the OG cutter to Ethan Page with the chair on his head.
Yeah, that was a good one too. I forgot about that.
Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. That's a match that happened this year that I feel like a lot of people do not remember. He just did the Fisherman Buster on a chair. That's gnarly as hell.
Gnarly was like exactly the word I was going to say.
Uh, that's a fun little spot where Punk gets out of the STF at Elimination Chamber and Rollins stomps him. I thought that was kind of cool. Just a bunch of good stuff. I'm just sort of looking through to recharge my memory, and it's hard to. Ooh, you know what? The very beginning of this year, there was a ladder match with Cody and Kevin Owens, and there was a spot where Owens hits like a top rope Fisherman Buster and breaks a ladder, and the match like stops. And I actually think that that's gonna be my pick.
I vaguely remember this, but I don't remember it 100%.
It's funny that we don't talk about it more because it's like literally the catalyst for Sami Zayn fighting Kevin Owens because Sami Zayn doesn't stop Cody.
I'm looking at it now. Let's see. This is off the second rope.
Yeah.
So let's see. Let's see if this Instagram video loads for me for this. He picks him up. He does that. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Not gonna be my pick, but yeah, that sucks. I mean, not want to take that.
And it was a big one, like that was a huge moment. And knowing where Owens is right now with his neck makes you think, huh?
Yeah, he's holding his head at the end of that too. So as far as biggest botch or worst botch or worst spot, I guess technically, I've got a couple different ones written down here.
Kalani Jordan, I'm looking at. This must be a stand and deliver ladder match. She's going for a frog splash on someone who's like supposed to be laying across a horizontal ladder, and she barely gets any of it. And it looks like the way that she bounces off that ladder, not great. Unfortunately,
Kalani Jordan does. What was it?
It looks like a stand and deliver multi-woman ladder.
Let's see, Kalani Jordan with the frog splash. This is TNA Bound for Glory. That's not the right thing.
Unfortunately, guys, there's so much wrestling that you don't always remember every spot. So I'm having to do real-time refreshers.
Yeah, but I'm looking at this. Let's see, she like barely lands on. It looks like Thea.
Yeah, and it looks like she lands entirely on that ladder.
Yeah, that wasn't on my list. I have on there Lyra Valkyria's wardrobe malfunction from the Royal Rumble. Remember that?
Yeah, for worst.
Yeah, biggest botch. Because that became like you need other people to help you make sure that your boobs aren't popping out.
Yeah, that I do remember that.
There's the Zoe Stark missile dropkick injury.
Oh man,
because that was a bad injury too. Like that was like as soon as that happened,
it was like match is over.
Yep,
she's done.
Speaking of that, Penta gets injured during a Hurricanrana on the outside.
That's definitely one of mine.
I have the finish to. Oh, that's right. The finish to Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax on SmackDown with the botched referee pin.
God. Well,
I've got down Blake Monroe loses the NXT Women's North American Championship to Thea Hale by not kicking out in time.
And this is one time where I do wish Callum was here because he's so adamant about referees calling things like a shoot.
And
like
they had to this week.
His argument would be that, Tiffany Stratton thing where it's like, just call the match like a shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I look at the Blake Monroe thing and I'm like, this is why you probably shouldn't call matches like a shoot.
I lean more towards you still should, because the difference between those two scenarios, Blake seemingly like got the wind knocked out of her, and that's why she didn't get her arm up in time. By counting that and just being like, look, that you didn't get your arm up in time. That's one thing. The finish to the triple threat, 1, 2, she's it just makes you go like, okay, now you just broke the illusion.
Now, granted, that one might have been in particular because what's her name? Daphne was waiting for something specifically to happen to her. But yeah, that was bad.
And then 2 other ones that I written down. Brock Lesnar falls backward during his entrance.
Good for him.
And one that wasn't a botch, but it was just a writing botch. Gunther never should have tapped out to Jey Uso.
There's a lot to be said about that. That is one of the dumbest decisions they've had.
So I don't know if I go with like biggest botch is, hey, these people got injured, or the biggest botch is somebody's boobs almost popped out, or do I go with a title changed hands on a botch? But I lean a little bit more towards the triple threat from SmackDown of like all parties failed in that. Nia didn't just instinctively get her arm up. Jade, she was doing her thing, whatever. Like it's in the moment, most people would probably have the same mistakes. So you can't really like, oh, these people are terrible. No, they're not. But it is a botch. Stratton wasn't there ready enough in time, and it was just all parties failed. Part of me thinks that the Brock Lesnar one was planned.
Brock Lesnar falling on his ass?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I don't know. Part of me thinks he's just going to have fun, and he's like, it'd be kind of fun if I did that. It might make people laugh.
No, you're giving him too much credit. I think he just fell on his ass. What about this botch that you didn't mention? They cut Goldberg's retirement speech.
Oh, God, yeah. Gotta write that in there. Goldberg's retirement speech gets cut off.
I mean, it's not a botch, but the argument can be made. Andrade's return to the company.
Although that carries into last year and stuff too, so that's just poor everything.
Right. Yeah,
because he wasn't just in the company this year.
That's right. I forgot about that.
And then if you start getting into botchy booking, we're going to talk about Jordan Grace
later. We'll talk about Jordan Grace. We'll talk about Cena later.
Yeah.
I am gonna say that Goldberg thing because it ignited some piss and vinegar in Goldberg.
And it is a retirement speech.
Yeah, like it shouldn't have happened to him, but like it did ignite some negative feelings.
Let's move on to recognition, the most underrated and the most overrated. Now, this is, of course, based off of our own perception of what other people are perceiving them to be. And, when you hear a lot of chatter one way or another, you might be like, oh my God, everybody's crapping on this person and I love this person. Or you might be like, oh my God, everybody's glazing that person and I think that they're shit. Or that you just think that they're going too far. You maybe don't even think that they're the worst or the best. So I have down 5 options under most overrated. 2 of them I don't think really matter too much, and that's Julia and Lainey Reed. Julia in the sense of everybody went nuts over Julia when she was getting into the company, and she has fallen so far. But I don't think that's her job to be doing that. I think that they're screwing her over with their booking. And Lainey Reed, it's overrated in the sense that I don't see why they are giving her that big of a push. Like, they kind of singled her out to be like, we're going to start pushing Lainey Reed. Out of nowhere, because she was on Evolve for like 2 episodes. So that just came out of nowhere. The 3 other ones that I have down for overrated, though, I don't know if this counts, but Jey Uso. And the reason I don't know if it counts is because there's a lot of people that absolutely hate him, and I think that they hate him a little too much. So he might be kind of stuck in the middle. between that. I think everybody needs to slow down a little bit on Kendall Gray. But I'm not going to be like, it's not like she's bad or anything. I just think that she went from nobody gave a shit about her at all.
Now, to be fair to me, again, from minute one, I was like, Kendall Gray and Carly Bryant, they've got something, specifically Kendall Gray.
I think you might be the only person that I had ever heard say anything positive about Kendall Gray before November.
Oh, by the way, you know who else I put over strong? Kelly Armstrong. Yeah, I'm dead.
Kelly's good.
Not to be like, look at me and sucking myself off here, but like, I'm fucking like, I just see it and I'm like, there's something here. There's a talent here, and I think Kendall Gray, unfortunately, the hype might be her undoing, and I'm afraid of that. But I personally think she's fantastic.
Well, my main pick is Nikki Bella. Because her stands act like she is amazing at everything that she does. She is not great at promos. She's never been great in the ring. Sorry that you really are into her aesthetic.
You and Sean Ross Sapp enjoy having the diva stance in your walls, and more power to you. I
guess it's just because we're seeing all that stuff, and it's just like, getting so much of like Twitter or whatever is people just being like, oh my God, this person's the best person ever. And you're like, do you know anything about this person yet? Or is this just you thought that this person was pretty? Because it almost always ends up being more so for the women. And the amount of accounts that act like, it's so-and-so's time now. And it's like, okay, you have a profile picture of that person and you got like edited photos of that person. You like their appearance.
But you can only do that with the women.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it'll be like, I've never seen this person before, but I am now a stan of like what's her wrestling? Tyra May Steele. And you're just like, oh, how did you come to that conclusion? She's had 2 matches.
Mm-hmm. So it's like the people that go absolutely nuts about like, oh my God, one of the best to ever do it, Nikki Bella. Fucking hold on a minute.
In that spirit, it seems like I hate this person. I swear to God, I don't. But LA Knight, man, like, sometimes I hear, look, I like LA Knight.
Yeah.
I like Eli Drake.
Yeah.
But some of these
shoes of champion,
people, man. Some of these people act like he's the second coming of Stone Cold. What are we doing here? Like, please stop.
LA Knight is exactly one of those guys that I enjoy, but I can point out the flaws. And as much as I wouldn't necessarily be opposed to LA Knight getting a world title reign, it has to happen at a time when it would make sense. And he's not going to have some year-long title reign. If he gets the belt at all, it's going to be some transitional run or something.
He's probably my pick, but Jey Uso's a really strong one here. It's just that I think most people have kind of
the pendulum swung the other way.
And it literally just was, hey, he won the Royal Rumble. That's so cool. We're making a new star. By the time we got to Mania, it was like, I don't know.
I mean, I didn't like that he won the Rumble. I was like, this should have been Cena.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I do think that, again, not speaking for myself, but I think there's a lot of people who would suggest Punk. There's a lot of people who would suggest
Rollins. A lot of people
Lee.
would.
AJ
Lee would be another one. A lot of people would. Yeah.
Again, me personally, no, because I knew what to expect from AJ Lee. Because I was watching good AJ Lee was wrestling.
AJ Lee was very good in a time frame when people were not wrestlers.
Yeah, exactly.
Same for Nikki Bella. Like, Nikki Bella was one of the better people in the ring at one point in time, but she was also only one of the better people in the ring when it was like Summer Rae and I was gonna say Eva Mendes. What's her name? Rosa
Eva
Mendes
Marie.
and Eva Marie. I'm mixing the two together. Like, yeah, you compare Nikki Bella to Rosa Mendes. Yeah, of course Nikki Bella looks great compared to her in the ring and all that. I mean, looks wise, two
Never won
attractive
a
people. Who
match.
cares?
That Rosalinda.
She never won that match, did she? It's
That's
my
crazy.
dream to win a match.
That's crazy.
Poor girl. I don't know. I probably would just go Nikki Bella. But I do think that it's worth talking about the Jey Uso side of it. So that depends on the whole, like, if you're on the side that absolutely hates him, if you're on the side that thinks that he's the best thing ever. So I guess Nikki Bella, because, whatever.
I'm gonna go LA Knight just because there are genuinely people calling for this man to win a world title.
Yeah. The most underrated, though, let's talk positively about somebody. And I've got a lot of people written down actually for this. How many names do I have down on this? Probably a dozen or something. Let's see. Let's convert this over. No, I have 18 names written down on this list. Wow. Okay. I'll speed run it to a certain extent. Stop me if it's a pick of yours. Asuka is underrated.
I think people know what they got, but that, maybe I'm being naive.
Bryce Donovan is somebody who came into Evolve and has already been fired. I liked him.
Yeah.
But he had some potential. Carmelo Hayes. They don't give him anything to do. People aren't gushing over him. Melo's great.
Yeah. Don't worry. He's a star for 15 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah, he could win the title in 2048, right? Mark Henry. Charlie Dempsey is underrated. He never has anything going on, and he's a lot of fun too. Ethan Page is underrated. He could be on the main roster fighting for Cody Rhodes, I think, right now, if they wanted to.
I think they know what they have.
Fallon Henley is underrated.
Absolutely. I'll agree with that.
Grayson Waller has been just hanging around as the third sidekick guy of the New Day.
This sucks. He should be being groomed to be the next Miz. Like, Miz can't be the hateable jerk forever.
I've got Hayes Jamison from LFG. She was on just that show, basically. And I thought, well, this girl's got a lot of talent. And then they fired her. JC Mateo. It sucks to have somebody that has that much talent come in and be renamed, Jeff Cobb Mateo, essentially, and then immediately be like, and you don't matter in this group because it's all Solo and Talatanga. Jeff Cobb shouldn't be in this group. Kairi Sane.
I will say, I like what the MFTs are.
To an extent,
if it wasn't a spinoff of the Bloodline. Yeah. It being a spinoff of the Bloodline makes it weird.
And JC Mateo is the guy that stands out the most in that, though. Because it's like...
Why is he wrestling?
He's not in the family.
Why is he wrestling on a shirt?
Yeah. I got Kairi Sane down as one of the most underrated. Because she's always just, losing.
Poor thing had a rough year. She was involved in a lot of unfortunate episodes in the ring, including the previously mentioned Zoe Stark incident.
I really shouldn't have just said I got Kairi Sane on my list. I should have said Kairi. People crap on this guy a lot. I like him. I wouldn't go fully most underrated, but he's somebody that I would give a shout out to. I still think that Lexis King is fun. I know.
No, unfortunately, Lexis King's just one of those names, right? Like he just didn't amount to much of anything.
Nobody talks about Ludwig Kaiser.
Well, that's because he's a El Gran Americano.
Yeah, he's great with that role too.
He turned that role around.
He did, yeah. Michin under my underrated list. And that's partially just from WWE themselves. They don't want to push Michin. But I like her. I think she's got more potential.
I can do the same thing about Julia.
Mm-hmm.
Julia, it's weird to say she's underrated, but like her main roster run, they are not utilizing her as strongly as they could be.
If those reports are true, that they're like, hey, we know that we're going to need some help on that third hour of Raw because we know that we're struggling with everything. Just like, do you hate all these women? What the hell? Move the rosters around. If you can't think of anything for them or whatever, why are they failing so much? You know? The Miz, always underrated. Every single year. Miz is great.
One of the best things of this year was Kevin Owens really giving Miz his flowers and saying how, like, yeah, I hated the Miz before I came to WWE too, and then you see how hard he works, and you realize he's great. And
he really is. He's not going to be appreciated until he's gone. That's for sure. And for that matter, talk about somebody who's improved a lot over the years. I think Nia Jax is underrated.
She fell back into her pattern this year, and I think fighting Tiffany Stratton 500 times didn't help.
Oh, no, that was awful. That's going to be on some negatives for sure. I did have Thea Hale on this list. Current champion that didn't win the title from being booked that way, but Thea Hale's underrated. I hope that they turn that around and make that a little bit better for her. And I also have Wendy Chu, because she's actually better than what they've ever given her. Now they're giving her some stuff on Evolve, but it's still Evolve. But I think that the most underrated in my pick is Damian Priest. I don't understand what the hate is for Damian Priest at all.
Really?
I think he is a fun guy to watch in the ring who can cut a promo, has good presence, is tall, looks like a star, looks unique. Why are people hating on Damian Priest?
For me, and I know like the rivalry of the year is me versus the aging roster, but I think that's got a part to do with it. I think he really, follow me here, but he kind of settled into the Kane role with moving to SmackDown, where he's just like big guy, former champion, but
Jobber monster,
upper mid card at best.
I see what you mean.
Like, I think
I'm always looking through and going, who's the current blank? Like,
yeah. So you got what I.
There was somebody, I forget what it was. Something the other day made me go, oh, Lance Archer is very much Crush.
Yeah, I see that.
Like, the Heart Punch Crush, not Kona Crush.
I mean, heel Kona Crush would probably still be like Lance Archer on a good day. But yeah, like Damian Priest, it feels like the modern Kane. Especially because he's a baby face.
Mm.
And he's got the credibility of being a former world champion, but he's not going to get that world championship.
Realistically, he's probably never going to win the world title again, but I'm very, very glad that he won it. And like, if somebody hired me to be in WWE today and said, what do you want to do for 2026? It wouldn't be like the first thing I would mention would be like, and Damian Priest is winning the Royal Rumble and whatever. But it's like, man, people crap on this guy. And I'm like, what do you want from him? Can't you direct that hate towards people that actually suck instead of the people that you think are not quite at that level, that aren't even being booked in that level right now?
You're asking for too much.
Yeah, that's always the case.
Underrated options for me, Motor City Machine Guns.
Yeah, people don't talk about them. They're cool.
They had a 2 out of 3 falls match with DIY at the Royal Rumble.
DIY for that matter.
That I think sealed both of their fates. Because the Indianapolis crowd just didn't react to them at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it.
Yeah, they gave him a really bad spot there of being like, you don't look like you deserve on this card. You got Royal Rumble, so then you got that match, and you guys haven't been pushed all that super well,
Um, other underrated names, not necessarily, kind of like what you said about Priest, where you don't get it, like you don't get the hate. What the fuck happened to Sami Zayn this year?
Oh, people started just like they flipped on a dime with Sami Zayn. It's like that guy should be a world champion, and it's like he probably should. And then they're like, well, fuck that guy, he's burning hell. And you're like, wait a minute, what happened?
I like Miles Bourne. I like what he's
We'll be talking
bringing to
about
the
him in a
table.
moment.
I like. There's a lot of people on the. But I'm trying to think of like an underrated name. I might straight up say like Gargano,
Mm-hmm.
because Gargano and Ciampa did not become what they looked like they were going to become on the roster. And it felt weird. It feels like that might be one of the reasons why people soured on Triple H's booking. Like, because it felt like Gargano and Ciampa with Vince out of the way, and I'll bring this up a lot more down the line, but with Vince out of the way, it felt like, oh, these guys are going to shine. And they just kind of are doing what they would be doing anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And at that point, it's just like, what have you done here?
At
So
one
that
point in
mattered.
time, I was like, okay, well, Johnny Gargano is the next Daniel Bryan.
He NXT Black and Gold booking shows that they understand what WWE is and what people view it to be, because they booked Black and Gold like a super indie, and they made guys like Adam Cole and Johnny Gargano appear to be on the level of Seth Rollins, and then they just decided, nah, never mind that.
Mm-hmm. They gave up. It's not like those people failed.
So I think I am going to say Johnny Gargano.
I like that. Love me some Johnny Gargano. Now, improvement in a superstar, biggest upgrade, biggest downgrade. This isn't overrated and underrated. This is actually just like, wow, that person was doing really great stuff, or they were really in a high spot and they lost all that momentum and now they're down in the dumps, or this person really took a lot of boosts to their career and really upped the ante. On the downgrade side of things, I wrote down about 6 or so names. Brooks Jensen being one of them. He goes from being an NXT guy to being on Evolve to being sent to TNA, but I wouldn't give it to Brooks. Core Jade, big prominent person at NXT, gets fired this year.
Yeah, very unfortunate. I would tack on to that Eddie Thorpe.
Start
of the year competing for the NXT Championship, was gone like 2 months later, 3 months later.
It's always weird when that happens too, where it's like, you're good enough to challenge for the top title, but we also don't want you here anymore. It's different when it's somebody who's like, okay, that person, like, not to, say that he should have gotten released, but like, I understood Ridge Holland's release, for instance, because it was like, yeah, he's been around a long enough time, and they probably said he's not getting it, and we're going to just cut bait at that point. They shouldn't have the way that they did, but, that's another whole, like, WWE being shitty.
That's also a major downgrade. Like, he was big enough at one point to be featured in War Games, opposite the Bloodline.
He was a dude that looked like he was potentially going to beat Walter in NXT UK. And then eventually comes in, does the whole thing with the Brawling Brutes, and that doesn't quite work out or whatever, but they tried with him quite a bit. But Wes Lee, big downgrade this year, gets fired.
Yeah, goes from being a guy that like the brand is built around to being fired. I agree.
The 3 though that I'm really revolving around,
I wonder if we're matching on 2 of these.
Probably are. One of them is Damian Priest, because they did reach a point where it's like he's former champion and all this other kind of good stuff, and then now he is in that kind of spot, but he's not my main pick. It's one of these 2 for me. I wonder if these are the 2 that we agree on. Jordan Grace and Bianca Belair.
Bianca's tough.
Bianca lost her WrestleMania streak this year and spent the whole rest of the year injured.
Because whatever happened to her finger is dead serious, because like she has not come back at all.
So I read one thing the other day that said that it's not her finger, it's her knuckle.
Okay.
So I guess that means like her whole hand needs to heal.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot more sense than a broken finger. But, you know, I'm no doctor. I don't know what the hell any of that shit means. Somebody's like, oh, which bone was it? I don't know. The right. It's probably left hand. But as much as Bianca Belair is like that, Jordynne Grace comes into the company as like, wow, this is the TNA Knockouts face of the division champion. She can go up next to a Rhea Ripley or a Bianca or anybody. And she has lost every single important match this year. Even matches that aren't important. To the point that she's ending the year after starting the year being like, oh, she's going to win that championship. She's going to be the face of NXT. She's ending it going, I'm losing to a bunch of rookies. I'm a fucking failure.
I remember genuinely thinking, oh, she should just win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that was an option. That was worth discussing.
And they really went out of their way to be like, you're going to just lose everything. To that effect, we mentioned her earlier, Julia.
Yeah, she wins a title this year and goes into this year as champion and still ends up being downgraded.
Went up to the main roster and still won a main roster title and still ends up being downgraded. The one you didn't mention that I have is the New Day. Listen, yes, they did win the titles at WrestleMania.
But does it really matter?
But did it really matter, first of all? And second of all, that heel turn when they turned on Big E, basically officially announcing that he's no longer gonna, don't even think about him wrestling. That was huge. That was all anybody wanted to talk about, and they did not follow that up well. And they're not even doing much of anything right now. They're just kind of hanging around. So they're a huge choice for me, but I think overall the pick, it has to be Jordynne Grace. What happened, man?
She's going to come up on a lot of negatives for me.
Also, Joe Hendry, how the fuck do you go from being the world champion of a company, wrestling Randy Orton at WrestleMania, to like, I don't know, maybe you'll fight Dark State with Hank and Tank? What?
But hey, he's popping out of a trash can.
That's it.
On the upgrade side of things, though, in terms of kayfabe, it's hard to argue against Jey Uso. Like, that guy wins the Royal Rumble, goes on to beat Gunther by making him tap out at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship, and then fights for the World Heavyweight Championship even after he loses it. Almost wins it again against CM Punk. So kayfabe-wise, like, there's arguably nobody who's got a better, bump up than that. Although there are a couple other people, Maxine Dupree being one of them. She's ending this year winning the Women's Intercontinental Championship when she had 2 matches that she won prior.
That's it? Like, just do it?
If, from what I could remember, 2 singles matches were all that she had won beforehand.
It's a bit premature, but like, it feels like Natty's gonna be on this list.
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, you know what?
How many times have they started and stopped with Natty,
Okay, I want to go back to Downgrade for 2 seconds. Solo Sikoa. Don't think it's worse than Jordynne Grace, but Solo Sikoa was in the featured match on the Raw Netflix premiere, and he went down so fast after losing to Roman. But ultimately, because Solo did win the US title and stuff, it's still Jordynne Grace, but I just wanted to bring that up. An improved name that you didn't mention was Naomi.
Oh, I got a lot more under the upgrades. Yeah. I had Naomi being one of them. She wins the title this year, Money in the Bank.
And,
Unfortunately, gets pregnant right at the worst time. You know,
I mean, yeah, fortunately, because, obviously that's something she and her husband want. And, like,
yeah,
even
fortunately
if she,
to do that, it just happened to be right then. You know what I mean?
even if she never wrestles again, which there's no reason to believe that she wouldn't, but, like, if she were to just say, I'm happy being a mom and I'm done, your final match was you retaining the title at SummerSlam, and your father played you to the ring.
That's true.
That's a good way to go.
I'd be like, I bowed out because I'm having my kid. You know, not like you got injured.
Yeah. Like, honestly, in terms of like storybook ending, you might want to call it a career right there. That's how good Naomi had it this year.
Unless she's like, I really got to have that one more match with Cameron. You know? It's gonna
Yeah.
come full circle. You mentioned this guy earlier, but there's no like accolades other than a title match and like just being upgraded in general. But Miles Bourne took a massive upgrade this year.
Yep.
Went from being the arguably the least interesting person in the No Quarter Catch crew to getting a title shot and being like a serious contender for Iron Survivor and all. Actually being able to talk now, having character work, having a feud revolve around his character, and it's the whole storyline with him being deaf and one ear with Lexus King. There's some fun moments with that.
Yeah,
Lash
you would like
Legend.
that. Yes, she was my most improved last year, but she's so good,
She's
and
becoming a star.
it's so comforting to see that. Because like I remember when she first started, uh, it was almost like the scripts where we were just like ragging on her.
Yeah.
Specifically, I think Callum had said something to the effect of like,
He was really on answer, yeah.
She's the worst person I've ever seen or something. And
To
it's
be
cool
fair, she deserved it back then. She was bad. But she's
but it's
gotten a
cool
lot
to see
better.
that she's recovered.
Yeah.
Um, to that
Kendall
effect,
Gray, too, is another one.
right? That's that's a strong one for me, man.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about somebody who wasn't anything, and now she's everybody's pick for like best athlete on that roster.
Another woman in the NXT side of things. The overlooked member of um, Toxic Attraction that then becomes the overlooked person in Fatal Influence and then becomes a two-time NXT Women's Champion and the TNA Knockouts Champion. JC Jane had a massive 2025 in comparison to 2024.
Unbelievable! Like you would have never guessed. JC Jane was becoming worrisome that she might be let go,
Right.
and she's
I mean,
become
it
like a
happened with Gigi
linchpin.
Dolan.
Right. And it happened with like Shotzi,
Mm-hmm.
and now she's become like a linchpin of the NXT roster. So definitely a massive upgrade.
Big upgrade to Dion Lennox this year. Mostly in the
Absolutely.
past like 2 months, but
Absolutely. That's another one. Another one for me, baby. I I know how to pick them.
out of that list, I think I lean a little bit more towards either maybe JC or, I mean, technically maybe Kendall because she's got a championship right now and she's also being pushed super heavy, whatever. I think I'm going to go JC.
I'm
Now,
gonna go
Jey
Kendall
Uso is
Gray because
Jey Uso makes sense. So,
Jason does make sense. Um, you could also maybe even argue our truth had like he our truth and Dom Mysterio too. By the way, this was the year I think Dom became like, okay, you're a staple player, you're not moving.
see, I wouldn't say an upgrade though from this year because I was already fully like Dom's awesome last year. But he did
I
win,
think
the Intercontinental title this year twice and the AAA Mega Championship. And he's going to go down as the last person to beat John Cena for a championship.
the Wyatt Six, they went from not doing much of anything to winning the tag team titles.
I wouldn't call it that much of an upgrade, though. I think that they've sucked this year.
I understand. But yeah, I'm definitely going Kendall because she's tremendous.
And then let's move over to what are we on next? Ring work. I don't think I need to explain that one again. A couple options for worst I've got are BJ Ray, and nobody really knows. Electra Lopez was never really all that great in the ring. Jey Uso for, if you're talking about being at the very, very top of the division, Jey Uso, not really great in the ring. Tongaloa, always somebody that we can kind of, who's the obvious lowest ranked in the MFTs. It's Tongaloa. And Tatiana Dumas from LFG. For her entire character for 2 seasons has been, you gotta stop sucking. And she goes, I know, I'm fired up. And then they go, yeah, that sucked.
That sounds awful.
Mm.
But happy to say, like, a name like Maxine Dupree isn't on my worst this year. I can't really think of anybody that's just like, oh, you're like, this is objectively bad and the worst thing I've ever seen. So I'm trying to think of like any specific people who have like botched a lot.
I mean, that's kind of Jey Uso.
I do unfortunately think I want to go Jey Uso, just because. Come on, man! Like, this was supposed to be your year.
And to reiterate, that does not mean Jey Uso is the worst wrestler of all time or any of these kind of things.
I'm not saying I could do better than him.
No.
I'm not saying much of anything other than I expected more from him.
It's just a matter of, if you're supposed to be at the top of the game and this is the biggest thing you could possibly do, and that's what you got, it's going to, the magnifying glass is going to be higher up.
Yeah, I might go Jey Uso.
And then on the best ring work side of things, your mileage may vary on these kind of things. I mean, you might be the type of person that's like, to me, best ring work means the person who's the most flippy dippy. And then it might be, I like the brawler types, or it might be, I like the technical wrestlers, whatever that, So you could always throw in like an AJ Styles is always good. Pretty much across the board, if you're going to have a match against Axiom or Nathan Fraser, they're going to be a lot of fun. Chad Gable's always great. Montez Ford never puts on a bad performance. Cody Rhodes, for what he does, doing that type of character, being that type of position, Cody Rhodes does his job every single time. I think that he doesn't really have bad matches. It might be booked weird, but I don't think that they're bad matches. Same for Ethan Page. I think Ethan Page is underrated as hell when it comes to that. The two I'm mostly debating about, though, that are like, man, that guy really just puts on a good match every single time, are Sami Zayn and Javon Evans. Sami Zayn had that US title reign where he's doing the open challenges, and he's just, people aren't liking Sami, but then he's having a banger match with this person and that person and that person. Javon has very quickly risen up to the ranks of people being like, get that guy on the main roster right now. And it's like, yeah, now you're seeing sometimes there's people on NXT that are freaking great. And Javon's one of them.
Yeah, I love Javon. And I think he might be the most fun competitor to watch. I would say same with Ilya. Same with Sami Zayn had a good year. Cody Rhodes had one of the worst matches I've ever seen John Cena have, and one of the best. So it kind of balanced out for him this year. But I'm gonna say it's Io Sky. She's the best wrestler WWE has all around.
Shout out to Io. Yeah, Io is obviously towards the top there.
By the way, if I didn't just give away the end of the awards for who I'm going, this was Io Sky's year in WWE, and she's had tremendous match. I don't think she's missed on a high level match. I mean, whether it was Raw with Rhea, the Evolution match with Rhea pre-cash-in, which I think a lot of people consider to be one of the best of the year. The Triple Threat at WrestleMania. Um, this was Io's year, so that's my best in ring.
Mic work is the opposite side of those things. Well, it's not really the opposite. I mean, it's not like it's, you know, and then who's the worst and that kind of thing. But we have best and the worst for mic work, of course. And that's who's on the stick, who's got the character, who's got the ability to cut a great promo, and who sucks. So as far as people that suck, practically everybody from Evolve and LFG. I mean, they're brand new. Like, they're learning. Some of them are never going to learn. Some of them should know better. And some of them are just bland personalities and stuff. But, like, I'm not going to give a microphone to, like, a Chris Island and be like, let me, you know, I'm going to be seated for this. Or, you know, a lot of people from NXT actually on this list, too. I've got, like, OTM. Every time that they cut a promo, I'm not really buying it. Nico Vance doesn't even talk anymore. I guess it's just like, let's not bother with that. I don't like the Cutler James things that they were doing for a while, where he was just kind of like, yeah, and we're going to go up behind you and tickle your butt. And they're like, like, what the hell's happening here? Julia is a matter of the language barrier. And they gave her a mouthpiece, and they still don't feel comfortable enough for some reason with that. Even though Kiana James is a good enough talker, that I don't see the point in doing that and then not letting her talk. Dragunov is not good on the mic.
He doesn't need to be, but I get what you're saying.
Another language barrier thing. Io Sky struggles, of course, and she's also said that she's like really nervous about that stuff. So it's like, I'm not going to be the jerk that goes like, Io Sky's the worst on the mic, but like realistically speaking, I'm not going to depend on Io to cut the promo of the year. You know, you should be able to when it comes to somebody like, and I hate to keep bringing him up, but you should be able to with Jey Uso. And Jay sometimes drops that ball. Jimmy sometimes drops that ball. And also Nikki Bella, for that matter.
Stephanie Vacquet.
And, you know, she'll be like cutting a promo that's supposed to be like really fired up and be like, I used to run this division. You're like, why do you sound more like you're somebody that's slightly annoyed at customer service rather than this, like, I'm going to kick your ass type?
That might be the problem right there.
Just too much Karen energy.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There was nothing egregiously bad when it comes to mic work this year.
Nothing that was memorable that I could think of. No, like, you know, the year that Marina Shafir cut that promo and everybody was in AEW just be like, you know me, and whatever. Then it was like, that's a bad promo. Okay, let's put that all in our lists. But I don't think anybody cut anything particularly bad this year. It's just, if Dragunov's in a backstage segment and he's talking about, you know, Tommaso Ciampa's a jackass or something, that's not great. Fun dude, but not on the mic.
Agreed.
Any other names that I'm blanking on? I mean, again, like me throwing in most of the talent from Evolve or something like that is just kind of, it's a little cheeky, but still.
In terms of where, I'm not a fan of Blake Monroe being like, it feels like she's doing Toni Storm.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan.
Or I'll talk about that when it comes to gimmicks too. Best mic work, though. We got a lot of great people. Still, to this day, Alexa Bliss is arguably the best woman on the mic. Underrated as all hell when it comes to that.
Where are we at on Charlotte Flair?
She has had a better year towards the latter half of this year than she's had in a while. I wouldn't put her on the list.
Understood.
I think that it's hilarious that Becky Lynch is doing basically Trump.
Yeah, I wonder if she's going to slow it down now. But she was basically just doing Trump.
Yeah. And it's like, she's doing that as like a trolling thing because she's a heel. Yet you know that there's people that are like, I mean, there's a whole bunch of indoctrinated people that subscribe to that BS. So, for that matter, anytime Chelsea Green talks, Chelsea's great.
Yeah.
4 other people that are on my list. What about you?
Chelsea Green is great. She really made a go of it with I've never been creamed like that before. And John Cena's great. For whatever you want to say about Cena, the one area he shines was on the microphone, even as a heel. Like, because I could buy the idea of like almost like Cena's Willy Wonka, and he gives him the whole "you get nothing, you lose." Like you don't get to see me come out with new theme music. You get nothing. You don't get to see me change my gear. So I like Cena's stuff. Randy Orton, when he's motivated, is really good. I enjoyed his promo with Cena where he's like, "You need to have some kids," and Cena's just like, "Fuck you! I couldn't have kids because I was too busy raising these brats." Big fan of that. Gunther's gotten better this year. Roman Reigns, when motivated, CM Punk might be my winner because when motivated, he's the best.
CM Punk is perpetually always one of the best. Yeah.
But like again, specifically when motivated.
Braun Breaker stuff recently with Punk, that promo was really good.
Braun Breaker, that's a strong one. But he also like flubbed a lot this year, You
talking Breaker?
Yeah.
Yeah, Breaker's had better stuff recently than he has in a long time, but he does kind of get stumbled over. CM Punk's promo against Breaker was one of the best, I think. For that matter, though, I mean, the Breaker one was good. Like, I'm not going to, they say that and then ignore that Breaker didn't do arguably his best promo. But he wouldn't be on my list, Breaker. I mean, Ethan Page, every time he gets a microphone, is great.
Absolutely.
Triple Mega Champion and whatever. Or the Mixed Tag Team Champion.
I like that Chelsea Green calls herself the Triple AAA Mixed Tag Team Champion.
The Miz?
Miz is, again, really good when motivated because I thought he was really good with the John Cena stuff. Here's one that I'm not going to give, but I have to mention. The beautiful overacting of Bianca Belair. Bianca didn't do a lot this year, but when she did, she gave us some of the best overacting I've ever seen in a WWE circumstance. Like when Jade's beating the shit out of Naomi at Elimination Chamber, and she's just having a panic attack inside the pod. Or I don't even know if you watched the full promo, but that promo between Naomi and Bianca, where it's melodrama, like on a different level. Bianca's fun, at least. I think my overall pick is Punk, but John Cena being a close second.
2 other people we haven't mentioned that I want to definitely shout out. Drew McIntyre is pretty much always good on the mic.
See, I felt like he had a really rough year this year because he went from being a main character last year, and granted, he's circling back around now, but he went from being a main character last year to not doing too much this year.
Yeah, this year he doesn't get it, but he still is just like perpetually. Like, I know if McIntyre is cutting a promo, it's going to be good. And then I got to give credit to, the man that is like always just surprising me at how fucking fun he is. Dominic Mysterio, every time he's on my screen, I enjoy the hell out of Dominic Mysterio. And if it's a stupid backstage segment where he's not even like, fired up cutting a promo or something like that, he's just fun when he's talking. And it'll just be like, yeah, I don't know about that. Like for certain things or something. And it's just like, there's a naturalness to Dom that like, I kind of want to just give this to Dom, actually, now that I'm thinking about it more.
Ray's son Dom.
My son Dom.
My son Dom.
It's just a stim.
You
Uh,
know, Sami Zayn cut some good promos this year. It's unfortunate the crowd just said "fuck you."
it's so weird that they did. They just arbitrarily decided to start hating this guy. Well, the last one of our technical skills awards will be the best and the worst match of the year. One of the biggest categories that's out there. That's why I try to split these up the way that it is, because it's like, oh, what's the big draw for this one? What's the main event for the technical skills? It's the match of the year. I wrote 3 matches down for worst of the year, and it's looking like about 7 or so for the best. And I don't remember the specifics about a lot of these things, but yeah, I mean, that's also the case of like, keep in mind, I'm not watching main event.
So much wrestling.
There's too much wrestling to remember. There's too much wrestling to even watch it all. If I am doing coverage for a show, a lot of the times I'm just like working so much that I can't really like, watch. So like I grouped together some things, of course. I grouped together various LFG matches. In particular, I wrote down, and I don't remember why this was the case, but Danny Sikelski, who's Skylar Ray now, and Serena Linton versus Layla Rell, who became Jintala, and Penina Tuilepa, who eventually is PJ Vasa. I don't remember for sure.
Fucking great, by the way.
I like PJ Vasa, yeah. But for some reason, that match was the first one that I wrote down. So that must have been really bad. And I also wrote down Kendall Gray versus Nikita Lyons on the April 4th Evolve.
Anything with Nikita Lyons stands a chance.
And then for a main roster thing, Zelina Vega versus Chelsea Green, Saturday night's main event 39, Women's United States title.
When they busted Chelsea's nose.
Oh, that's that one. Oh, okay. Any other worst candidates you got?
I don't know. This is real recency bias, but I do want to bring it up here. Rhea and Zelina in the mixed tag on SmackDown this past week had a rough go of it. I don't know if you watched. I can imagine that you didn't. But they had a rough go of it. Like they were botching left and right. And I feel like a dick even pointing that out, but like they just wore off. Like the chemistry just wasn't there. And that to me was really disappointing. I would say Cena R-Truth at Saturday Night's main event was really disappointing. I would say I expected more from Solo and Jacob in the cage match at SummerSlam. But ultimately, my worst match of the year is it's one of 2 WrestleMania matches. So it's either Jey Uso and Gunther, because I didn't like the finish. I thought they could have done more. Or it's Cody and Cena. That match felt so off. And we're going to talk about their other matches, one of my best matches of the year. But like that match felt so off. Travis Scott did a weird run-in.
Like, he's coming up on this list for sure.
Oh, also the Tribal Combat match on the Netflix Raw with Solo and Roman.
I don't remember hating it. I don't remember liking it, but I don't remember hating it.
It was just so like, and now we're doing the kendo stick spot, and wait, here's a bunch of run-ins. Like, it's just not my cup of tea. But I do think I'm gonna go with that Cena Cody match because it was deflating as the final match of the show.
So on the best candidates, in chronological order, at least from what I had written them down, I've got the Royal Rumble matches are always fun because they're Royal Rumbles. I never pick them, but I always enjoy them. You know, I got the ladder match that you mentioned, Cody Rhodes against Kevin Owens at the Royal Rumble.
Absolutely.
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn at Elimination Chamber.
That's a strong one.
WWE TLC tag team match. DIY Motor City Machine Guns Street Profits.
Man, that might be the best TV match of the year.
Io Bianca Rhea at WrestleMania.
That's a fantastic wrestling match.
The men's Money in the Bank. Andrade, El Grande Americano, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, and Solo Sikoa.
Right. That's a good lineup.
Io and Rhea at Evolution.
If it wasn't for the cash-in, that might be the match of the year.
Another TLC match. Wyatt Six, Andrade, Ray Phoenix, DIY, Fraxium, Motor City Machine Guns, and Street Profits. So basically, it's, let's do the other match, but let's throw a couple more tag teams in there at SummerSlam.
Too many tag teams, but very strong match.
AJ Styles and John Cena at Crown Jewel.
Yeah. That's definitely up on people's lists.
And then, which probably is like the most like out there, the Bliss and Flair against Bayley and Lyra from October 27th Raw.
Absolutely. I also, like I had said, I want to shout out the Cena Cody match from SummerSlam. I'm gonna give a shout out to Cena and Gunther. I really like that match.
How do you feel about the tap out?
It's one of the rare instances where the crowd really enhanced the match. And how do I feel about the tap out? It's weird, right? Because I went into this knowing that was the finish. Once Gunther said on Raw, I'm going to make him tap out, it was very clear that's where they were going. It was so heartwarming for me, Tony, that an entire fandom forgot everything they know about wrestling being an absolute work. And we're just like, I want to see Super Cena win. They were chanting Super Cena. They had the cutest moment ever where they're doing the arm thing, which if you follow this podcast, you know I'm a big fan of the arm checking when you're in the sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
And he does the okay hand gesture. Yeah. And I swear to God, he should have just Supermaned him. He should have just beat the shit out of him, hit the AA, and called it a day from what those people wanted. But I ultimately thought it was fine. I think a lot of people were overanalyzing it because there were some people who just thought, oh, okay, he's going into the night. He's almost like a person whose life flashed before his eyes. I just thought he was looking at his wife. Hey, it's over. Tap tap. I'm coming home. But I thought it was fine. I was shocked by the reaction.
There's a part of me that has been debating about this, and even to bring it up on the podcast, because there's a certain level of what's this douchebag talking about? And then there's this also level of it kind of approaches the it's still real to me, damn it, kind of side of things.
Right.
There's a part of me that thinks that John Cena smiling and tapping out the way that he did is actually kind of brilliant, in the sense that maybe this is not true. Maybe this is me looking into it in a totally different way.
Are you one of those people who thinks that he said he's going to ruin wrestling and then he did?
No. Kind of the opposite. That Cena says, I'm going to ruin wrestling. And his last match, he ends going, you know what? I don't need to win my last match. It's going to be better for the business if I create a heel out of this. And it's almost like the character broke character. And just went, I'm the guy that won everything. I don't need to win this. It's going to be more for this kid. And is happy to tap to be I'm going to make Gunther. I don't think that that's necessarily what went through their minds.
That's way too deep. But
hey, look who you're fucking talking to. But you're talking to the Blueprint Project guy.
But I have a theory.
An Austin theory.
Or not a theory, but I have this idea that it's like this beautiful full circle moment for John Cena in the audience, right? Because in my eyes, John Cena's whole career is defined largely by the fan base being so sick of him and just being like, we know you're gonna win, but damn it, we want you to lose.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, almost like that, like graduation goggles, that nostalgia, that it's the last gasp of your childhood. It's we know you have to lose, but damn it, we want you to win.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful like it really is, and this not in like a oh it was a planned way. Like it's this beautiful moment where the fan base did way more than I thought they were going to do. I genuinely was shocked that people were like as upset as they were. Like they just had this moment of like, no, we want Superman. How dare you?
It's a
But no, I thought
microcosm of the way that people are in general, because, and this is like, okay, shut the fuck up, Tony. Look what happens at funerals. Oh man, that was the best guy. And
yeah,
it's like,
yeah,
you get to, like you said, graduation's a great example for that. When you're graduating, it's like, you know, 3 weeks prior to graduation, you're all sitting around going, man, I can't wait to get out of here. Yeah, somehow school sucked, and I can't wait to be done with going to class every day. And then you get to graduation yourself, and you go, oh, I'm gonna miss it.
and then you're just like, oh my god, I'm gonna miss them so much.
I'm never gonna see some of these people again.
A lot of that, like
This means that an era is over, and now I can, move on to the next thing. But what is the next thing? Like, there's elements to that. I still wouldn't put Cena versus Gunther in my match of the year, but then again, that's two of these matches are shit ton of guys flipped around with ladders.
I also I put that in my
Actually,
match of
that's
the year
4 matches on my list. I just realized
because
that.
in all seriousness, like they delivered in a way that I wasn't expecting them to.
Mm.
Cena's last match delivered, and I was really happy about that.
But you're probably going with Cena and Cody.
Oh, for my best match of the year?
Yeah.
No, no,
Or did now we just turn this into Cena and Gunther?
no. I haven't mentioned my match of the year, and if you're gonna be like, really? But my favorite thing that happened this year was the main event of the first night of WrestleMania. I was a big fan of Punk versus Roman versus Rollins. And even though the story is hokey as all hell, three men fighting for the love and affection of Paul Heyman, because that's what it was.
It was.
I thought like they had a great match, and the only thing that would have made that match better would have been a championship. And that's my match of the year. And just from a pure fandom standpoint, like that was the match where I was like marking out the hardest, where it was just like fun to see these guys in this spot.
Should have been for a title.
Should have been for a title.
Shouldn't have done the Gunther and Jey Uso thing.
And by the way, I think that is so clear. Like in hindsight, you didn't need to do the Jey Uso and Gunther thing.
But there's gonna be those people, even within the company, that would be like, yeah, but how else were we supposed to get him over? And look at that, all the merchandise that we sold and all that. That was the right call because Jey Uso is super popular. And it's like, but then you just gave them fuel to chant you tapped out for all those months, and now Gunther needed to beat Goldberg and John Cena in their retirements to get some of that juice back,
I do think genuinely they they could have probably gotten around that by just like having the Usos Like you still could have had a big Yeet Fest with the Usos, but they were so determined to do Jey Uso going there. And we learned this year from John Cena himself, a lot of their booking was just like, well, we want to shock you. We want a
Mhm.
moment.
This was a
Like,
lot of stuff this year that was like, we don't have anything for this, so let's do something to get people talking.
like
Like, you
when John
can't
Cena
tell me that Brock Lesnar coming back wasn't, hey, ESPN, we need to have a big thing. Let's get the Brock.
ESPN wants a big thing. We'll give him Brock and Cena. Cena wants to fight Brock. We didn't know how the fuck we were gonna do that. We'll just do it now.
Yeah. Oh, The Rock doesn't have any idea what he's going to do. Fucking Cena turns heel then. Like, we're going to talk about that on the.
Or like Cody, we need something for Elimination Chamber. Cody, you want to turn heel?
Mm-hmm.
No. All right, John won't say no to us.
Yeah. So that actually is a good way to lead into our next set of categories. And that is because the next section will be the writing awards. So that's when we get to talk about, hey, creative. The fuck was that? And, things like catchphrases and slogans, the TV show of the year, pay-per-view of the year, that kind of thing. So, how this works. If you're on YouTube, then make sure that you click on the next video. It should be part of the playlist as well eventually. And then you can kind of roll along and do that. Or if you are on the audio only feeds, then you're just going to have to wait a second. But if you are on YouTube, make sure that you do all the good things that you should be doing to help out the channel and all. Make sure that you hit the like button, subscribe, ring their notification bell, double check that you have your email alerts set up for post shows and stuff like that. You can also click on the thanks button, and you can click on the join button and get yourself access to the different tiers that are over there. Same kind of thing as Patreon, although the YouTube thing, you get early access for content and stuff too. And Redbubble and TeePublic is where you can pick up the merchandise if you're interested in that. If you're interested in following anything else under A Mango Tree, go to amangotree.com. Make sure that you're following Rob too.
Yep, you can follow me over at DeFelice.
And then we're going to obviously continue to record and work along the way for this list. So we hope that we see you in the next one. And make sure that you leave your comments below so we can see what your picks are. And we're going to keep things rolling. And of course, you got to click on the next part if that's where you are, with the WWE 2025 Writing Awards for the 2025 Smark Out Moment Awards coming up next. But for now, this has been another Smark Out Moment, and we are being counted out.